Need high-quality video to promote your event, business, or band? We can help.
We're Pixel Pond, a video production team based in the Pacific Northwest, providing high-quality content to clients across the U.S. and Canada.
Whether you want coverage of your live event to promote for next year, or need a camera and a camera operator for your next big project, we can accommodate projects of all sizes.
Your story is important. Visit pixelpondllc.com or send an email to info@pixelpondllc.com to get started today. We can't wait to work with you.
Parental warning. This podcast contains references to tops and bottoms, fetishes, ménage à trois, and butt stuff. Please podcast responsibly.
This time on Gamers Week podcast, High on Life 2 continues the absurd tendencies of the original and will feature a playable version of Wisdom Tree's Bible Adventures video game.
I'm just thinking of like what the license cost for this. It
$2.
couldn't be a lot. Yeah, right. Like
The license, I imagine, was not in high demand. So
call up the guy who owned Wisdom Tree, like, hey, can I get the license for us? He's like, well, yeah. It's like, so what do you think is a good price? The guy's like, $20.
yeah.
He's like, really? No. 25?
You know what? I'm hungry. Could you DoorDash me a fish sandwich and we'll call it even?
That's actually not a bad deal these days.
We're here. We're live. I'm sorry. I apologize. I kept
People
you in
were
suspense.
asking. People were asking, Donnie.
There were literally tens of people.
There were
asking.
dozens of them asking.
It's funny is it's not coming up as being live right now.
No, it's not.
You're right. It's not. Why is it not? I pressed
Did
the
you
start
hit the
streaming
button?
button. Yes, I did. Are you
Maybe
kidding me?
Press it again.
No, now
times,
it's okay.
just-
What the hell? All right, now we're live. I seriously don't know what the hell happened. I pressed the start streaming. I changed the scene and everything. I saw Simon Ashtier. He's chatting, and I'm like, oh.
Yep.
And next thing you know, it's like we're not live. Oh, you're right.
The professor was not late. Thank you very much. The professor was very much on time. I was the first one here.
Well, you start the room. That makes you first.
Yeah.
Details.
Yes. Donnie was delayed. So apologies,
delayed.
everyone. Thank you for sticking around.
Yes, we
He
appreciate
was rescued by the eagles from the Tower of Orthanc.
if that helps you. I know it's a Tolkien reference. I get it. I love it.
Yeah. Webhead says, I have nothing else scheduled to watch at 9:30 on Wednesday nights. For 20 minutes, I was left with nothing but my own thoughts.
That's a scary.
Yeah,
that is dangerous.
We apologize. We apologize, Frank.
Oh,
Hopefully we've rescued you.
Shh, no more thinking. No more thinking. It's all done.
do you use your left hand or your right hand for that? You wish.
Are those happy tears?
All right. I don't know how to return from that. So let's go ahead and get the show started. Welcome, everyone, to Gamers Week podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, worst, and weirdest headlines of the past week in the video game industry. This is episode 180, and today is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. My name is Blue Williams, and I'll be your host for this evening. But as you can see, I am not alone. I do have two fine co-hosts with me. My first co-host has just started a new career as a loan shark. But don't worry, if you fall behind on your payments, he offers several flexible payment options. Please say hello to Ryan Payne, aka retrogamebrews.
I'm all about flexibility. I'm about giving people the right position to pay me back.
Right.
So I think I'm pretty generous. a generous loan shark.
I'm already loaning you money. What more do you want from me?
And my second co-host is the proud new spokesperson for Follicle Fresh, the new hair-based toothpaste that cleans and flosses all in one. All he has to do is stop gagging long enough to shoot the commercial. Please, everyone, say hello to the one and only Donnie G.
Okay. I know I messed with you about the Silksong and all that stuff, but why do you feel the need to do something that's disgusting? That I find disgusting?
Because it makes me happy.
Right.
And you want me to be happy, don't you?
And it makes me happy as well. So 2/3 of the podcast is happy.
And I'm pretty sure the viewers are happy as well.
Yes. So everyone is happy, but you. Mm-hmm. Own your own happiness, Donnie.
You're responsible for your
own happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
On that note, bye. Click.
Want to start your own podcast? Maybe about Love at First Bite, the cannibal dating show where eating your partner's meat is highly encouraged? You'll need a place to host your show. Buzzsprout has a user-friendly interface, great analytics, and resources to help grow your audience. Just use the link in the description to get a $20 credit when you sign up for a paid plan. Uh-huh. And let's move on to our reviews, reactions, and requests. Daddy Davey says, I do recall that Big Trouble in Little China game for C64 and Specky being extremely popular. I never played it myself, but it definitely was popular back then.
Good old Europe, getting stuff we didn't have.
Specky.
Right. Good old ZX Spectrum.
Specky.
Yeah. Specky. Not ZX Spectrum. It's the Specky, for those in the know.
Well, and Ryan actually called it the ZX Spectrum last week, and I was like, What are you British? Like, we don't do that here.
Only because it's from the UK. So I am being very nice about that and calling it, because it was originally called the ZX Spectrum by them. So I'm going to go with that. Originally, I did call it the ZX Spectrum. Uh-huh. And I remember talking about it on like a video that I posted on Twitter and getting destroyed for it. So I'm very choosy with my words on that.
Okay.
I don't want to get canceled by...
What he's saying is he's enlightened now. He's going with the native pronunciation. And when he writes it out, he adds a bunch of extra U's just because.
Exactly.
Was the ZX Spectrum released in the United States?
Not widely.
Okay.
No.
So it's not like the Mega Drive Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
It's virtually a podcast wants to know if you call it football or soccer.
I call it soccer because I also like football.
So you have to differentiate.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Next up, Sirum11590 says Gamescom was more like Days of Meh, with some announcements and reveals that were at least decent.
I would agree with that. It wasn't terrible.
Days of Meh.
As the kids would say, it was very mid.
It did not spark joy.
And Gaming Again says, life has been busy, and I'm getting caught up on the pod. Very excited for the return of Blue Sick Voice.
And it's gone.
I don't think it's completely gone, but we'll see. We'll see how the night goes.
You don't sound as bad as you did last week.
No.
It's like a half a pack now.
I'm almost there. Yeah.
Go and get my Misties, honey. Would you be a doll?
All right, let's move on to our patron shoutouts.
Well, we couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. Gamatroid, Mordib, Michael, yo one ugly motherfucker, Lakite, Emo Ass, Phil Tucker, you know the beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps, Fruitcakes, I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted, Pickled Pepper, Ducks with Thick Thighs, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress, Bobson Dugnut, Blues Little Sis, Loud Moth, Retro Blast Pat, B&T Zilla Guy, The Mad Milkman, Seven Castle Forest, Crunchy Kong, Snacks the Handsome Chef, Frank Grande, Love Retro BTW, Steve Retro, Love Retro BTW, Steven San, Ramboski, Terry Canair, Don't Make Me Pull This Car Over, Games of Coffee, Hybrid Divide, You Fall Before Me, Davey PGH, The Pixel Pond Family, including Jen and Luke, Zach, Old Cluster Nuts, Puzzle Butter, Number 1, Blue Sick Boys fan, John Barron, Sassy Sony, Evil Lust, have a structured settlement or annuity and need cash now. Your boy JG Wetmert at 877 cash now, and Mega Retro Man. If you like what you hear today, we really hope you do. Please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover the costs of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You also gain access to our bi-weekly patron-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut, Patrons with Benefits. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes to learn more.
Webhead says, Spaceballs, the Patreon.
Well, before Simon Ashtera says, the beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps, eventually the entire Spaceballs script will join the Patreon. And I can only dream and keep my fingers crossed for that.
Get back here, you fat bearded bitch.
What are you, one of the freaks?
All right, let's move on to the headlines.
This headline segment is proudly sponsored by absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress. Each episode, George and Zach discuss and rank all the best things, starting with deep dives into every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This week, they've got a trivia question for us. According to the manual, what is the name for a health replenishing item in Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis, more commonly referred to as wall meat? Visit them at absolutelythebest.net or follow the link in the show notes. We've already had this one, didn't we?
But it was
Nope.
regular Castlevania. It wasn't Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega.
Yeah.
And I played that about a year ago, so I feel like I should know this. But the immediate thought was
redacted,
because that's what it was
right
in that one. But what tells me is it's not that. So I'm going to go with
redacted.
Okay.
This is bullshit. Like, are you telling me that they changed the name of the meat in the subsequent different games?
Yep.
Like, oh, this is now tofu block or what? Like,
it is Sega, so it's possible that mega is in the word.
Mega meat.
Yeah, mega meat. Take my mega meat. So you're right. It was
redacted
in the original Castlevania. This one, I'm just going to go with
redacted.
Okay. You should know that Zach chose this specifically with the intention of trolling you two. So,
well, he did it. That's a good job.
Checks out. Yeah. The answer is actually
redacted,
but he would have accepted Western meat, which is allegedly the translation to English from the Japanese manual.
Western meat?
Western meat.
Western meat.
I wonder if that's their term for
redacted.
It's just Western meat.
Probably.
I don't know.
They don't know what to call
it. Because Japanese has some
meat.
weird, like, translation stuff.
Simon Ashtare says in Castlevania 3, it was werewolf meat.
Oh.
In the Netflix anime, there's a blink and you'll miss it shot of a butcher casually taking a cart of dead werewolf away without saying anything. I remember that shot, but I did not catch the reference because I have never read the manual for Castlevania 3.
Me neither.
All right, let's move on to the week's headlines. A fresh report has detailed the difficulties faced by some developers keen to launch games for Nintendo Switch 2, but who remain unable to do so due to a lack of Nintendo support. According to Digital Foundry, Nintendo is still restricting its supply of Switch 2 development hardware and instead telling some studios to launch their titles as Switch 1 games that can then be played via backwards compatibility on Switch 2. This has sparked frustration among a number of developers, including at least one major AAA studio unable to launch a Switch 2 native version of their game, while hardware is given to some indie creators, including the team behind Campfire Simulator Chillin' by the Fire, an indie hangout game set around a campfire which makes use of the Switch 2 camera. There's been a lot of talk about this lately, that Nintendo seems to be almost discouraging Switch 2 development to some degree. Digital Foundry's John Linneman said during the team's most recent podcast, "I've spoken with plenty of developers where they were told that their game, they should just ship it on Switch 1 and rely on backwards compatibility," Linneman continued. "We talked to a lot of devs at Gamescom this year, and so many of them said the same things. They want to ship on Switch 2. They would love to do Switch 2 versions. They can't get the hardware. It's really difficult right now." One particular frustration has been the lack of transparency from Nintendo on why some studios have been given Switch 2 development kits while others have not. There's weird stuff about discouraging Switch 2 development explicitly for some games. A limited subset of games, like if you're doing a pixel art game at 240p, you probably don't need a Switch 2 kit. Digital Foundry's Oliver McKenzie added. But there are very few games on the Switch 1 that wouldn't benefit from being ported explicitly to Switch 2.
I would say if I was one of these developers, screw you, Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just develop my game for Sony or Xbox.
And to that end, the last time Nintendo did something similar to this was the release of the N64. And a lot of developers jumped to PlayStation. They did not wait around to get their port, and supposedly it was really difficult to develop for anyway. So it sounds like maybe Nintendo's like, yeah, this thing's kind of jank. So maybe we don't want people to actually get a dev kit for this. What a strange thing to do for Nintendo. You would think they would want everyone and their mother to have one of these dev kits so that they can start selling games strictly as Switch 2 and charging more for them. Yeah. Because they can do that now.
It's virtually a podcast says Switch 2 equals disaster. Something is happening with Nintendo and it's weird.
Very weird.
Puzzle Better says Nintendo roasting their own campfire feels sus. I mean, I don't know if the gaming landscape now is such that you as a developer can just say, well, screw you, Nintendo. We're going to do the other platforms. Nintendo is such a huge portion of the market, especially for indie games, that, yeah, I think it would behoove you as a developer to figure out how to work with them.
Of course, and like it says in the article, they're giving it to some of the indie developers, right? Just not the AAA studios. So
Campfire Studios.
Yeah. Ooh, Campfire Studios gets.
I do love this. I do love this perceived like hierarchy of games to where the Campfire Simulator does not deserve the Switch 2 dev kit, but like the real games, the quote unquote real games, deserve them more.
I think Nintendo has been hamstrung in the fact that the Switch 1 has a limited amount of space natively for it, right? It's running at 720p. It's essentially equivalent to PS3 hardware, right? And there are certain games that Nintendo players would love to have that are not on Switch 1 because it couldn't handle it. So I think there is a hierarchy, right? Mm-hmm. At least it should be in Nintendo's mind. I mean, what was the game that they recently came out with that I'll have to look it up, but that was coming out for Switch 2, which like, ooh, look, Nintendo's finally getting like a big boy game.
I just Googled Nintendo big boy game.
Yeah, and right now it seems like Nintendo is too primarily focused on all these developers porting their older games to the Switch 2. I just don't know how much money they expect to get from this, how much these developers expect to get from this to see for, yes, it's a brand new system, but it's a system that rivals the PS4, the Xbox One, which is like just kind of, they're old. So
yeah, it is kind of funny.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
I mean, because on the one hand, like one of the major criticisms of the Switch 2 so far in its life cycle has been the lack of games.
Mm-hmm.
Two, like you're saying, it's old hardware. So why is it like this feeding frenzy for developers to try to get these dev kits, especially when the news earlier was that third-party games are just absolutely bombing on Switch 2, with pretty much the exception of Cyberpunk 2077. So do all of these developers think that they're going to be the exception and they're going to be the new Cyberpunk and just sell a shit ton of units if they can get it ported to Switch 2?
That's a good question.
I think you have to look at the population of people who strictly own a Switch, right? Don't own Steam account or anything. They just own a Switch and have been looking at the PS5 and PS4 library and Xbox library and going, ooh, I would love to have that game. I don't know if that's a lot of people necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty, but like Cyberpunk, I think, was such a big phenomenon. It was obviously in the news. It was on people's radars, but I don't know. Does your average, I'm only owning a Switch person, are they looking for something that's not like a Nintendo property?
Well, I don't know. And that's the weird thing is like how many people only own a Switch 2? I could see a lot of people only owning a Switch 1.
Yeah.
But usually if you put the effort to get the Switch 2 early, you're probably a fairly established gamer who has more than one console.
Or you traded your Switch 1 in to get a Switch 2.
Probably.
That too. Yeah, that could be it.
But then you've been playing on the Switch 1. So you are established. This is not your first foray into a gaming system with the Switch 2. And if it is, you f***ed up.
Yeah.
Why not just continue to develop for the Switch 1 then? And instead of all this debacle with the Switch 2, just push it out a little bit longer. If you didn't have the bevy of first-party titles for it, which there's 2 games now? 2 or 3?
Donkey Kong, Mario Kart.
Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart 9. So that's your fault for not having at least 5 or 6 first-party titles that you could ship with this. Instead of now you're relying on all these other developers to get on the bandwagon and say, well, I'm going to port a 10-year-old game to this new console that I don't see it bringing in a lot of money for those developers. I don't think it would be a best use of their time.
But even if they wanted to, it sounds like they're not getting kits anyways. So it seems like it's this just counterproductive relationship. And really, Nintendo has never really had, since the Super Nintendo, realistically, a really strong relationship with third-party developers anyway, right? Mm-hmm. They get occasional indie games, but again, because they're the ancient hardware, that's their mantra, that since Gunpei Yokoi, nobody wants to develop for them because it's not going to be something that's going to be ported to then the most modern consoles as well. Because that's where a lot of the developers are going to make their money. It's in the margins by being able to sell it on Steam, PS5, and Xbox and Switch at the same time. So it's just like, it's a fucking weird business model, honestly.
And maybe I don't understand enough about game development, but why restrict the dev kits at all?
I don't get that. That blows my mind.
The only thing that I can think of is that one of the biggest problems with the Switch 1 was that the eShop became just this absolute dumpster fire of shovelware and mobile ports, and there was no quality control whatsoever. But if you're telling people, well, no, put it on the Switch 1, but you can still play it on the Switch 2 via backwards compatibility, that doesn't solve that problem. So with that logic, I have no idea why they would restrict these dev kits. It makes no sense to me.
Because you still get the Switch 1 graphics and quality. It doesn't matter if it's backwards compatible. You won't get that quality. It's just like, okay, if I did the whole thing with, what's that, the Harry Potter game that they made for the Switch, and it looked like
Hogwarts.
So you're telling me that, to port Hogwarts to the Switch 1 and it's going to play great on the Switch 2? No, it's not.
It barely played great on the Switch 1.
Right.
I guess we'll watch this play out and see where it goes. But I hate to say this, but it seems like this is the every other console problem that Nintendo has.
I was just going to make a similar point. It's Nintendo just came off of their hand over fist success of the Switch 1, and now it's time for them to be put in their place and have a little bit of humble pie.
I think the only one was the GameCube that was immune to that, right? Because the GameCube wasn't the gangbuster right after the flop. Because it went Super Nintendo and 64. And then it was like, GameCube?
Yeah, it was not a big. And then Wii, revolutionary.
Right.
Okay. Still the graphics.
You got to use your hand. It's a baby's toy.
Right. Tekken85 says they fully redid Hogwarts Legacy for Switch 2. Yes, that's probably a rarity, though. They probably got a dev kit to be able to do that, to showcase the game on the Switch 2 looking great as it should have been. But
yeah, I think we're more using that as an analogy than a specific example.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is, if we're talking about a hierarchy of games that deserve a Switch 2 dev kit or not, that would be one that probably you could make a strong argument for, because if I recall correctly, they had to squash it to 1/3 the size that it was on Xbox and PlayStation just to get it to function on Switch 1. So when Tiken says that they're 2 completely different games, I believe it. Bring
Gollum to Switch 2.
Gollum for Switch 2. I'm still not going to play it though.
Nope.
You and no one else.
All right, next up, PlayStation boss Herman Hulst has said that live service failures are good for the development of their future attempts. One of Sony's first major pushes into the live service space was Concord. And for those of you who managed to miss out on the fiasco, it was pulled offline after 2 weeks of being out. And not long later, Sony killed the game and the studio behind it, meaning that the 8 years of development time were basically for nothing. And yet, PlayStation are unfazed with development of live service titles going forward. Marathon is next in line, and from the sound of things, it isn't going swimmingly over there either. The advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary oversight is, Hulst adds. But instead of changing strategy to avoid massive live service failures like Concord or cancellations like The Last of Us Online, Hulst says he basically wants Sony to fail better. I don't want teams to always play it safe, but I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply. To change these massive failures into smaller failures, Hulst says PlayStation has implemented several new safeguards, such as more rigorous and more frequent testing in many different ways. This reportedly includes a higher priority on group testing, more cross-pollination of ideas within Sony, and closer relationships between top executives.
Tippy top.
But if you were hoping that failure would cause Sony to go back to doing what it does best by creating impactful single-player games, don't get too excited. Hulst says that the number of live service releases is not important. What is important to me is having a diverse set of player experiences and a set of communities, he says.
As we were talking about before, we had established that I'm a top executive and Donnie's a bottom.
Not in my boardroom.
Does this feel a little bit like revisionist history? You know, like, oh yeah, I totally meant to do that kind of thing.
I mean, I love that they're saying we're not going to go for successes. We're going to go for faster, cheaper failures. Like, are you listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth?
I think this brings up, though, a fundamental problem that is a part of the gaming development space nowadays, is that realistically, if you're a AAA studio, you have to make hits in order to be successful. You have every game that comes out needs to be a hit, needs to sell 10 million plus units in order for you to justify the amount of money that you're putting into the development process and marketing. It's astronomically big. It's the movie industry, right? If it flops, you're fucked. And I can appreciate the old adage, right? You learn more from your failures than you do your successes. I get that. But I don't know if they have a lot of room for error. Maybe Sony's different because it's not just a development studio. So they have a little bit of extra cash liquid cash to work with. But still, that sounds to me like it's not a long-term strategy. You can only fail so many times before you either run out of money or you get to the point where you erode consumer confidence in your studios.
Right.
Right.
I think failure is good in some ways because it lets you learn. In this way, they're learning that not everybody wants a stupid live service game. And
so the lesson is not to play.
Well, yeah. And if they end up in development of another live service game and they see that it's going down the toilet, maybe then you change the direction and say, all right, you know what? We're not going to focus on live service games. We're going to go back and focus on that single player narrative that people love and yada, yada, yada. Let's go back to basics. Let's go back to basics and do the stuff that we're known for. That's going to bring people back to the house. Why not do that? I do agree that you need more oversight as far as focus groups and testing and feedback and all that stuff, because so many of these games that we've talked about over the past couple of years have been released and they've absolutely bombed. And you know why? Because the focus groups haven't been there. They haven't adhered to the feedback. That's just been like, no, let's go ahead and release it anyway. We're already too far gone and we can't just kill it now. But Herman Hulst is saying, yeah, go ahead and kill it. I don't care if it's been in development for 8 years. Well, I'll hold your head under the water.
Like CD Projekt read this and we're like, oh,
Yeah, so we could have done that.
No, I think that this is a bunch of corporate ease BS. You know, where Xbox is always saying, "Oh, we're focusing on producing award-winning games," while in this next breath they're closing the studios that actually produce said award-winning games. But then you have to have the suits come out and say the lines of, "Oh no, we're going to get you these award-winning games," and that's just their shtick that they use to excuse what they've done. I think it's interesting, though, that PlayStation is not even aiming for that. It's like, well, we're going to put out these great games and we're going to do these, you know, this award winning and all these successful titles. He's like, we're going to fail faster. And that's how we're going to be better, is we're going to fail faster. I think that they just cannot resist the allure of live service, even though they have yet to have success aside from Helldivers 2, which is not even their game. It's just on their platform.
Right.
But they see how much potential money is in live service and they just cannot resist going for it, even though, I mean, how many millions and perhaps billions of dollars have they lost in pursuit of doing this thing that is completely different from what their bread and butter is and what made them the household name that they are today. But I also like how Hulst is saying, well, the advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary oversight is. So you're saying that you failed these teams because there was no oversight apparently. And the implication being that now we're going to micromanage them and it'll be better. Like, what's going to be the excuse next time?
Guys, I can only play golf 3 times a week now.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually got to work. Oh my God.
Now, I'm all for, I'm for the good balance, you know, of having people having oversight, having the focus groups, the feedbacks and everything like that. But I'm also for taking a step back and letting the creative minds do their work. Sure. So I don't know how they're going to find the balance here.
They don't. It sounds like they don't know either.
No, they have no idea.
We have no clue.
We're just going to keep failing until somebody figures it out.
Right.
But we're going to fail faster.
Just like, ludicrous fail. Go!
Money is falling out of my pocket.
I like that.
Smoke if you get them.
Want to stop? Well, why don't we take a 5-minute break?
All right, next up, the announcement of Hollow Knight Silksong's release date has created a ripple effect in the indie game community, with the game launching on short notice next week on September 4th. Several indie titles that were slated to release on or near that date are collectively jumping out of its blast radius to avoid being overshadowed. Nate, the wary, onesie-donned Failson at the heart of the eccentric adventure in literal walking simulator baby steps, has stumbled after attempting to ascend his greatest challenge yet, launching the week after Hollow Knight Silksong's surprise release date, reads Devolver Digital's press release on the delay of their game, Baby Steps. And they're not alone in this decision. Publisher Easebird Games delayed its tactical RPG Demon School from September 3rd to November 19. The early access cozy sim title Little Witch in the Woods pushed its long-awaited 1.0 launch from September 4 to September 15. Indie Metroidvania Eterna Lucas was also planned to release this month and is now delayed all the way into next year. Retro RPG Phaeland was set to launch out of early access on September 9, but this has been postponed to a yet-to-be-determined date. Clover Pit, a roguelite slot machine game, had its launch moved to September 26 from its original September 3rd date. All of these delay announcements specifically cite Hollow Knight Silksong as the primary culprit. This phenomenon will likely continue as titles like Jet Runner, Atari's Adventure of Samsara, Deep Silver's Metal Eden, and Bandai Namco's Hirogami are just a few titles arriving right alongside Team Cherry's hotly anticipated sequel. It wouldn't be a surprise if these developers are having difficult conversations about whether it's wise or even financially feasible to delay their titles, or if it's better to weather the storm and hope for the best.
What a great excuse to be able to use if you were behind on developing your game.
Well, can't do it now.
Right, yeah.
Can't do it now.
All right, we need another 2 months. Just it's for Silksong.
So Silksong is having this effect. Clearly, GTA 6 is going to have this effect. Is that what it's going to be now? Is that we wait for like the big titles to come out so that everything else is like that's how we determine when games are going to be released?
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say is how often do you hear of this happening? I can't think of another game besides GTA 6 and Silksong that other developers have specifically gone out of their way to avoid. And I think objectively that makes Silksong the GTA 6 of indie titles.
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't know if that's an insult or not.
I'm going to take it as a compliment. And I think Team Cherry should too.
All I can see in my head is the part of the movie in Something About Mary when Pat Healy he's listening to the conversations and he's hearing Tucker say he's a serial killer or something. He just says, that's every other development team that was planning on releasing their game on that date. They let out a collective and now they got to scramble because they know the sales they're going to tank going up against Silksong.
So, Blue, I know that you're going to go crazy for Silksong. But if Silksong wasn't going to be released, would your first choice be a walking simulator called Baby Steps?
You mean where the main character wears like a gray onesie specifically so you can see the sweat in his ass crack?
That's that game?
That would be the one.
No.
Oh my God, I forgot that was the name of that game.
Yep, Baby Steps. Where it's like the ragdoll physics walking simulator.
Nobody's playing that game anyway.
Even though, as much as I love Devolver Digital, no, that would not be in my top 87 choices.
Would a roguelike slot machine game be one?
No.
Can anybody tell me what the fuck that means?
Okay, that needs to be played on Switch, I think, so that you can use the little Joy-Cons.
There we go.
You know.
Could you keep doing that?
Sometimes the definitions that they use to describe these games are just like what the come on, what are you trying to do?
It's almost like they threw a bunch of genres into like a bowl, and just went and then all right, slot machine, what's it gonna be roguelike?
I don't think we can pull this one off.
Let's go to ChatGPT and see what it says.
I was going to say, you really think that they're using actual physical methods like pieces of paper in a bowl? No. They went to ChatGPT and said, give me a new game genre. And ChatGPT said, roguelike slot machine game.
It's going to print money, I'm telling you. Genius, Jerry. It's genius. Or gold, sorry.
It's gold, Jerry. Gold.
So, kudos to Silksong, though. I think everyone is extremely hyped about this. I don't think that this is an overreaction. I'll be honest, from these two studios. I think this is going to be an absolute blockbuster game, and good for Team Cherry. Maybe the whole we really just enjoyed making it, so we delayed it for 6 years tactic is working. Yeah.
But, I think the whole thing of it's not just the Silksong fans that were hurt by them just not even checking in, not even saying, hey, we might release it this time, or we're still making it, or whatever. Nobody saw it coming, and then it's having ripples across the gaming industry. I think, with great power comes great responsibility, and Team Cherry from now on should be giving us release dates that we can count on.
I think it's for other indie dev. They would appreciate it as well.
Right. For the sanity of their indie dev brethren, a release date next time.
They're not all on a Slack somewhere where they're just like, hey guys, just want to let you know we're going to be releasing this. Help a guy out. Come on.
We're brothers. We're cut from the same cloth. We're indie developers.
And Team Cherry's like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
You can't sit here.
Right. It's the Mariah Carey gif. I don't know her.
Seats taken.
Simon Asher says, is there a guest host lined up for when Blue goes into a Silksong cocoon for the next few weeks? You guys don't need me, right?
Just to edit.
Yeah.
Come up with the show notes and
do all the things.
However it is that you post on Buzzsprout, because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Also, the leveler. I don't have access to that either.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay.
yeah.
So no Cocoon for me is really what I'm hearing.
You get no vacation. You lose. Good day, sir.
Okay.
I gotta say, though, we are planning on doing an episode next week, and Blue has been so gracious to postpone playing on launch day so that your ear holes can be full of our voices.
I
So,
care about your ear holes being filled.
if you're not a Patreon subscriber yet, but you want to show appreciation for Blue,
And my sacrifice.
throwing it up.
My sacrifice.
And we promise Donnie won't sing any more Creed.
Hello, my friend.
Please stop. You're scaring them away.
Are you taking the day off to play Silksong? That's the question.
No.
No.
Because I
okay.
was so sick before, I don't have any more vacation time.
Oh, no. Okay.
I know.
So Simon Esther, subscribe now to disable the singing.
And Frank says, Blue is invaluable, Daddy.
MVD.
MVD.
I'll take it.
Stop throwing out names, Frank.
All right, and last up, High on Life 2 continues the absurd tendencies of the original and will feature a playable version of Wisdom Tree's Bible Adventures video game. Creative director Mikey Spano from developer Squanch Games revealed at Gamescom that Richard Kine's character, Senator Muppy-Doo, can factory reset your game, prompting a Bible Adventures takeover. The 3 games included with Bible Adventures, Noah's Ark, Baby Moses, and David and Goliath are playable during this takeover. Spano said someone at Squanch Games has great connections in the video game industry and helped get the rights sorted out to make this happen. When the idea came up to have this kind of in-game takeover with another game, Spano said it was his dream for Bible Adventures to be that game, but he didn't imagine it would work out. It did, and Spano said he's floored. A terrible video game based on the Bible is like the best thing I've ever heard in my life. It sucks so bad to play. It's great. In the original High on Life, the 1990 movie Demon Wind was watchable from start to finish, and Spano said the team at Squanch Games wanted to find a way to up the ante with the sequel.
Trolling you with Bible Adventures might be the coolest thing I've ever heard of.
Joke's on them. I'm good at Bible Adventures.
I was just about to ask. You're probably the only one that played it back in the 90s between the 3 of us.
So much Bible Adventures back in the day.
Funny. Because I was not aware of this until I was older, that even existed.
The look on Donnie's face is telling me he's not super familiar either.
I'm just trying to understand this whole freaking article. You can play Bible Adventures? You're getting incepted?
So the way it sounds like it works out is that the main villain can factory reset your game and then it turns into Bible Adventures.
Lord, that is the ultimate troll move.
Yes.
Like, why?
Yep. Yeah. And if you don't rescue Baby Moses, you can't go back to the regular game. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Oh no! Were those games tough back then?
Oh my God, the David and Goliath and the Baby Moses one were fucking impossible. The Noah's Ark one is actually, I don't hate it. Even to this day, I don't hate it. You kind of run around and
carry the things on your head.
Yeah. You can carry like 4 different animals on your head, and then you go to the ark and you put them in there. But the cows, you can only carry 1 cow at a time or 1 ox at a time because they're heavy.
Apparently, they didn't get loaded on 2 by 2.
I don't hate this idea. I think it's very trolly. Just like Simon Astor saying you can play some of the Sega games in the Yakuza series. Okay, I get the concept, but this is like to the next level. This is having somebody take over your game and then forcing you to play a much harder platformer. Like they should like institute something like that where it's like, now you got to do this level of Marble Madness to get back to the regular game.
Not only that, these games actually contain Bible trivia that you have to get through.
That you have to have the manual for as well, too. So it doesn't give you, if I remember right, too, you have to open it up to a certain page. Like it doesn't give you the question. The question's in the manual and it's just answers, if I remember right.
No, I don't think so.
And well, it's one of those Wisdom Tree games that It may not be Bible Adventures. It may be like Bible Buffet or whatever.
Okay, I didn't have Bible Buffet, so
Simon Esther says the King James Manual.
yeah, no, on this one, it's actual. They have the question, and then it's like multiple choice. But you can imagine the kind of audience that's playing High on Life is probably not a lot of overlap in that Venn diagram with the kind of audience that grew up playing Bible Adventures.
Just like the end of the game, they've become educated now, and it just reminds me of that scene in Clerks 2 where the Jay goes to the guy and goes, "Do you know Jesus was a Jew?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sorry, but those games would probably, if they have Bible trivia, they're going to be a hell of a lot easier to answer because I have this thing at my disposal, all the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like what the license cost for this. It couldn't be a lot. Yeah, right. Like
The license, I imagine, was not in high demand. So
call up the guy and who owned Winston Tree, like, "Hey, can I get the license for us?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." It's like, "So what do you think is a good price?" The guy's like, $20.
yeah.
He's like, really? No. 25?
You know what? I'm hungry. Could you DoorDash me a fish sandwich and we'll call it even?
That's actually not a bad deal these days. Tegan85 says, it's good to know that Bible game makers were also coked out.
Well, it was funny, too. They had like the Sunday Fun Day was just a direct port of Menace Beach that they changed over to make it more Bible-y, if you will.
More Bible-y.
More Bible-y?
More Bible-y. Mm-hmm.
Well, and the
More Bible-y.
Baby Moses one is like Super Mario 2, just reskinned. And
okay.
way harder. Way harder.
But you got to hold on to Moses the entire time, but you can throw him.
Right. You can throw him, but not in the water.
Isn't that where you're supposed to go? Go to your home.
You're not supposed to throw an infant in general, but apparently water is worse than slamming him down on the ground from a high height. Just, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Logic. All right, let's move on to our top 3 new releases.
All right. So first up is Shinobi Art of Vengeance, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The iconic Shinobi returns in an all-new 2D action platformer with a unique hand-drawn look created by the team behind the hit brawler Streets of Rage 4. Play as the legendary Shinobi Joe Musashi, master of the ninja arts, after finding your village burned to the ground and your clan turned into stone. You must set off on a quest for vengeance, ready to face an unparalleled evil and avenge your clan. Next up is Davy X. Jones, early access on the PC. Betrayed, robbed, and beheaded legendary pirate Davy Jones sinks to the locker, the seafarer's afterlife. But death is merely the beginning of this epic fate of revenge. Control the captain's headless body, Jones, and forge an unlikely alliance with his stubborn skull, Davy, as you reclaim your stolen artifacts and face your eternal nemesis, Blackbeard. And lastly, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Remake of the 2004 game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater with the same gripping story and engrossing world, now with new graphics and 3D audio that enhance the jungle atmosphere. Get ready for the ultimate survival stealth action experience. So, taking a look at these, Donnie, what are you in for this week?
It's really a toss-up. Davy X. Jones, while it looks like it could be fun, it's definitely not in my coin flip this week. I could still possibly play it, but it's taken a back seat. Shinobi Art of Vengeance looks freaking amazing. Metal Gear Solid Delta, I've been waiting for this. I actually went and after work stopped by a Target today hoping it would be there. It was not. So I think I'm going to have to pick it up tomorrow. I'm hoping that they have a physical release for it because I'm picking it up on the PS5. But Shinobi Art of Vengeance, Metal Gear Solid Delta, those two, they're fighting it out for my attention this week.
Nice. Blue, what about you?
Siram I says, my wife is interested in the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. She finally remembers shooting enemies in the dick with the trank gun back in college.
Go to sleep.
And that's how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Shinobi Art of Vengeance, like Donnie was saying, it looks freaking amazing. The art style looks great. Love a platformer. Love this series. Excited to see it return. Davy X Jones. Pirate games are fun. And Metal Gear Solid Delta, obviously it's a classic game. I probably wouldn't do that one because I'm not like a giant Metal Gear Solid fan, but I'm sure it's going to be great. Donnie can let us know how it is. But yeah, again, it's hard to look past anything besides Shinobi Art of Vengeance. That just looks absolutely killer, and I cannot wait to play that.
Nice.
What about you, Ryan?
So Davy X Jones looks kind of cool, I will say. It seems to have a lot of humor in it, which of course I always appreciate with a game. To your point, Donnie, I just don't know. I haven't seen enough of it to be enthralled, but call my interest peaked, to say the least. Metal Gear Solid, never been a Metal Gear fan. I hate stealth games because I'm terrible at them. So I will admit that's a me thing, not the game's problem. But watching the trailer, I know that this is a remake.
It didn't look very remakey.
No,
it looked remastered.
Yeah. And not even really that well done remastered. Everything's kind of rigid. It's very PS2, PS3 look to it. And so, I mean, it's cool that you'll be able to play it on a PS5 or your Xbox, if PC or whatever. I just don't know that it's the jump I was expecting if I heard that they were doing a remake of this game. That being said, I don't really plan to play it anyway, so who cares what my opinion is on how it looks. But Shinobi looks badass.
Yes, it does.
And Shinobi, for anybody who is playing games from back in our day, it was Nintendo had Ninja Gaiden, Sega had Shinobi. And Shinobi, I thought, was always a cooler, not only looking game, but the way it played. You had a lot more weapon options. They were kind of cooler. Your sprite was huge compared to Ninja Gaiden. Huge. So I think that this is borrowing from that whole premise very, very well, from what I can see. So it seems to me that it's not only taking what Shinobi did well, but adding on top of it. There seems to be a lot of combos that you can do in move sets and everything. So there seems to be a nice fun factor that's involved with it. But it does seem a little Metroidvania-ish, a little bit. Which, I'm terrible at, so I'll probably be terrible at this too, but it still looks cool as fuck. So I would have a hard time not at least entertaining it to see what it's all about. So if I had to pick one, I'm going to say Shinobi, my choice this week.
I would say that Shinobi's probably not a Metroidvania. It's not, I don't think that they would go into that route.
I don't think, like, from a map standpoint, and they have to, like, backtrack, I don't think it's probably that, but it is a lot of, like, mid-air platforming and all that kind of stuff. So.
One Up John says Shinobi's physical is only through limited run games.
Oh, no, come on, man.
Ooh. I might boycott this.
All right, before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic, family-friendly retro gaming podcast. In each episode, Rob and a guest pick 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. This week, they want to know, what are your go-to retro games when you have some time to kill? Visit them at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes.
First one comes to mind is Mega Man X. That is one that I know kind of back and front, so it doesn't take a whole lot of thinking, but it's still fun as hell. And the music's always great. So Mega Man X is always that one. It feels comfortable. And having done an RGB high score with it, I learned a lot more about the game as well. And so now it feels like every time I play it, there's no point in which I'm struggling. So there's no frustration. I can just, it's cozy in a way for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Dr. Mario. That's the one
Surprise!
that I know. That's the one I turn on when it, got 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes to kill. I'll do a quick run through of Dr. Mario. I haven't done that in quite a while though, because I've been grinding away at the Vampire Survivors Platinum, which also coincidentally, you can do those runs in 20, 30 minutes. So that's what I've been doing instead. But I've got that Platinum now. So now I think it's time to go back to Dr. Mario when I have a little bit of time to go.
Nice humble flex as well.
For me, it's got to be Tetris. It's a game I have been playing almost daily for like a good 20 or 30 minutes, see how many times I can actually transition to level 19 and subsequently the higher levels and whatnot. I think that's a tried and true classic. The other one is Donkey Kong. I've got that little arcade countertop thing sitting over here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll move my camera. It's sitting right there and it's on. Just pop over to Donkey Kong, see if I can't beat my high score. There you go.
It's funny because I was playing that tonight before we logged out.
Oh, yeah, on your tabletop. Yeah.
Yeah. I was showing my folks are in town, so showing my parents how it works.
Mom, Dad, look at my Donkey Kong.
Yeah. You're so
sure
proud
that's
of
what
me.
they were excited to visit for.
Have you seen my Donkey Kong?
Right.
And now, it's time for the very important poll.
Every month, we post our VIP, a very important poll. If you'd like to participate, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at GamersWeekPC. Now, this month's question is, who do you think is the sexiest video game villain? Third, tie for...
It's a tie.
This has never happened before.
Yeah.
This is crazy. All the years we've been doing very important polls, we've never had a three-way tie.
So...
We've never had a three-way, you guys.
Never had a three-way tie for the poll. So
pause.
Yeah. Coming in at 21%, Pyramid Head, Dark Queen from the Battletoads, and Other. And leading the poll this month is Lady Dimitrescu. However you pronounce it, Dimitrescu, Dimitrescu, whatever. I don't care. Don't at me.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. You know exactly who we're talking about.
Huge tracts of land.
Yeah.
She is towering above everybody else at 37%. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the comments from the poll. Slaw Saunders says Elizabeth Bartley from Castlevania Bloodlines is absolute smoking hot smoke show. And she even used World War I to resurrect Dracula. Very hot, very evil. You see what I'm doing? It's very hot, it's very evil. Thunderdome Gam 1 says, surprised no one said the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. Well, I mean, you said it. You said it. Ludo Timbo says, game over, Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie can get it. What does that mean?
I think there's a theme here.
She's going to get it. She doesn't even know it. And I'm going to give the one to give it to her. Dumb Penguin says, Ganon in Legend of Zelda TOTK is literal fire. The Ring Fit Adventure boss is also sexy, but it's very much a type. Some kid somewhere played Ring Fit Adventure and had weird feelings. I don't know this one.
It's like
a big demon.
Yeah,
thing,
like a gray demon, but like
Okay.
he's got like an 8-pack
caught.
and yeah, super cut.
I'm getting the Peter
This
thing.
better not awaken anything in me.
And last but not least, Dragoon Arc says the Dark Queen from Battletoads. I mean, there had to be some motivating factor for us to keep throwing ourselves into that jet bike level. Mm-hmm. Persistence is key, I would agree.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what you guys have said, because you're the opposite sex. Blue, let's start with you. Who was your sexy video game villain? And I think we already know.
Yeah, I was going to
answer,
say, surely this is not a mystery to
I'd like to
anyone
hear it.
listening. I went with Dark Queen. No, just kidding. I went with Pyramid Head, and that was my nomination for the poll. It's Pyramid Head forever and always has my heart.
Stinky Aragorn.
He's not a villain.
Stinky Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head does not stink. We've had this discussion. We do
I
not
know,
need to
and
rehash it.
No, but it's not settled. It's the problem. He smells like blood and iron and rot.
Leather, and it's a nice manly scent. The leather apron, maybe a little bit of metal from the giant sword,
That's
and the
covered in blood and the guts, the rotting flesh. I'm agreeing with Ryan. He might have a 6-pack, but that smell.
So when you look at the nurses from Silent Hill, there's nothing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's what I would call window shopping. Nice to look at, as long as it's behind some glass. All I'm thinking though is like you know, in like have some like cadaver in a movie somewhere, right? And they do like that like thing under the nose. Like that's all you got to do, Blue. It's like, oh wait, we're gonna do this. Give me 1 second. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to make some adjustments to make it work. You know, I can meet Pyramid Head halfway. You know, just see how it goes.
And then you find out like he's asexual.
Oh, that would be so sad. Although the intro of him with the dolls in Silent Hill 2 makes me think that's probably not the case. But I don't want to judge.
Well, he was just doing that for posterity's sake, for the environment, and after that, he's just like, nope, I can't do that again. Ryan, what about you?
Dark Queen from Battletoads.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this character was the one character that opened my eyes to the concept of goth chicks and started my obsession.
The BTGGs?
You got it. BTG, big titty goth girlfriend. BTGGs, yes.
Yes.
Thigh-high leather boots, right? And that like leather bustier, black hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. There's something that happens.
I think a lot of kids had a certain awareness after playing Battletoads.
Yep.
Davey says, oh yeah, the me boots.
Exactly. And I do have kind of a boot fetish, so that's funny.
Deacon85 says, speak louder so your parents can hear you, RGB. Yeah, it's his house. I don't think he gives a shit.
No, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. What about you, Donnie?
I'm going to go with something or someone that I don't think most people have mentioned or even thought of, and that is Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid 1. Now,
I got to look this up.
Yeah.
I will say that back in days of yore, when Metal Gear Solid was the hype thing on the PlayStation.
With the uniform that zips down to her belly button.
Yes. She's got the choker. She's got the long hair that sometimes covers her eyes and makes her a little mysterious. And the flight suit that zips down the front, exposing just a little bit, that gives your mind something to play with. I okay. Yeah. There's a reason why I'm dying. I keep dying on this level. I don't know what it is. And
can't seem to focus. Weird.
Right. I overcame that. And if you look at some of the art for Sniper Wolf, some of the cosplays that are out there. Yeah.
I'm sure that's a popular cosplay.
I believe so. She's got my vote.
It's a solid choice, Donnie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done.
I appreciate that.
I really was expecting more troll choices like Eggman or Waluigi or something, and we didn't get a single troll vote, which I'm kind of disappointed. Not often you're disappointed in the internet for not trolling you. This was an occasion.
Booger Man.
Right, exactly.
Let me tell you, there's something sexy about a rotund man with a wild, wiry mustache that just goes all over the place.
Virile. It's a virile mustache.
Virile.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you all for listening to episode 180 of Gamers Week Podcast. And a big thank you to the Retro Game Club Podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pawn Production Company, and absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show notes. If you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Watch us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamers Week Podcast, where we will record live every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Time, unless Donnie is late. Email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com. Or if you want to do it the easy way, follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/gamersweek. Finally, since you made it all the way to the end of the episode, please leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we did. We really do value your feedback. And while you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice.
Shots fired.
Hey, you know, apparently my unhappiness is your guys' happiness. So it's my sacrifice.
It only took you almost 4 years to figure that out.
Almost 4 years. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a late bloomer. I'm a little slow. The town's back that way.
But you know what? You know what is so touching about nights like tonight is that these people care enough about us to stick around.
They do. And that says something. I mean, we were 20 minutes late, and yet the regulars are here. They're chatting with us. They're hanging out. And honestly, I might be a little sentimental, but that means a whole hell of a lot to us that you guys keep showing up and
For sure.
100%.
and interacting with us and making this podcast better.
You see that, Donnie? They think you're worth it. They think you're worth the wait.
Is that L'Oreal? You're worth it. I am.
Yeah.
Rambuski says, hey, better late than never. And now I've got Cheech Marin in Ghostbusters 2.
The Titanic.
Yeah. Everything is a movie thing. Everything is a movie thing.
Better late than never.
Right. He says the Titanic just arrived. Thank you very much for hanging out with us again tonight. We will be back on Monday for a Gamers Week Plays. Actually, I don't think we will.
Well, it's a holiday. Yeah.
Yes.
It's Labor Day.
We will probably not be on for Monday night because it's a holiday. So we will be back here next Wednesday. Good night. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you. Stay safe.
Good night.
Bye.
Do you have a backup going?
I do have a backup going. So
Good show. Later.
All right. All right. I get to be on top.
Hey, why do you get to be on top? Isn't it like Big Spoon? You know?
All right. You know what? I can be on the bottom because
You're definitely a bottom in this relationship.
No, you can do all the work. So you're on top and you're.
Right. That's what tops do.
No. I don't think you understand what's going on here. I'm on my
right.
It's like this.
Yeah, and I understand, but that would still make you a bottom.
No.
Tops give, bottoms receive.
You are not understanding what I'm trying to say.
I understand that I'm comfortable with
You're
that.
sitting
I get
down.
to dictate.
You're receiving, though you're on top.
Yes. Thank you.
No,
she gets it. Why was that difficult?
No, it's just I'm not a receiver.
I'm taking a breath. I'm taking a rest.
I can't use any of this.
You could just do a beep.
Maybe not for the cold open, but maybe for the stinger. The sensible people have turned the show off by then.
What you can't hear here is the boys are discussing. No, they're the positions they would be in if they made love.
I don't think love has anything to do with it.
What's love got to do? Got to do with it. What's love? But a second-hand emotion. Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut.
Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut.
Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut, patrons with benefits. This is the unscripted, patron-only bonus cast with less editing and more dirty jokes. We don't know where the conversation will go, but we're sure it will be weird.
This fish just went right on my nipple, and I'm just like,
I Google Street Fighter 6. The first search result that comes up is people think they can see Ryu's in the Street Fighter 6 reveal.
Listen up here, kids. You're not going to want to get one of those VD-STDs things, right? Make it fall off. When you go, grab a pro. You'll be doing it for America.
that was perfect.
If you want to hear weekly episodes of our patron-only bonus cast, join us at patreon.com/gamersweek.